I just got my hands on some absolutely explosive messages between Josh Duggar and his sister Jessa while he was in jail, and honestly, the entitlement and audacity in these messages is absolutely stunning. Josh Duggar told his parents on multiple occasions that he was upset, you guys, that none of his siblings reached out to him while he was in jail. But one sister actually did reach out, and that was Jessa. Jessa Duggar Seewald reached out to her brother Josh on his birthday, making her the first and only one of his 9 sisters to message him while he was in jail. Let me read you what she wrote, because it's actually quite kind and gracious, given everything Josh did. Happy birthday, Josh. We love you and are praying for you. Love, the Seewalds. Jessa wrote in a message that people obtained. Josh turned 34 on that day and was spending his birthday behind bars at the Washington County Detention Center following his conviction on federal charges for receiving and possessing illegal content involving minors. So this is after he was convicted, after a jury found him guilty, after all the horrific evidence was presented in court. In his response, sent just a few hours later, Josh made no secret of how excited and happy he was to hear from Jessa. But you guys, he also couldn't help but complain about being the victim. Let me read you his response. "Thank you so much for the kind words," Josh began, which sounds nice enough, right? But then he immediately adds, "I only got one note from a sibling so far today. You are it." Okay, can we just pause here for a second? Josh, you were convicted of possessing illegal content involving minors. You inappropriately harmed 4 of your sisters when they were children. And you're complaining that only one sibling reached out on your birthday? The audacity is absolutely mind-blowing. He went on to tell Jessa that she was such an encouragement to me and Anna and our kiddos, then thanked her for all the things she was doing to help his wife Anna and their children while he was in custody awaiting sentencing. So Jessa is not only reaching out to Josh with kindness despite everything he did, but she's also actively helping Anna and the kids. She's showing up for the family while Josh is in jail for absolutely horrific crimes, and yet he still finds a way to complain. But wait, it gets even more audacious. Josh also used his message to tell Jessa that there was a need for Marshall Island language Bibles at the detention center if she or her ministry were looking to donate. So he's asking his sister, one of his victims, by the way, to help him with a donation project while he's in jail on serious charges. The entitlement is absolutely staggering. He closed out by writing, "Message back anytime and video chat anytime too. Love you all so much and miss you." The "miss you" really gets me, because, whose fault is it that you're separated from your family, Josh? Who made the choices that led to you being in jail? Take some accountability. Jessa did respond in what would be her second and final exchange with Josh while he was in custody. "Thank you for those encouraging words," Jessa wrote graciously. She then told Josh that their Lord, quote, "carries your wife and kids closer to his heart," and that she and her family are thankful to get to love on them. So again, Jessa is being incredibly kind and supportive of Anna and the children. She concluded by saying she would look into the Bibles that Josh requested before telling her brother that she loved him and was praying for him. Jessa's grace and compassion in these messages is honestly remarkable given what Josh did to her and her sisters. But here's where things get absolutely wild. Less than 2 months later, Josh was sentenced to 151 months in prison. That's more than 12 years. And 2 days after learning he would be spending over a decade behind bars, he sent his father Jim Bob a message to pass along to his siblings. You guys, what Josh wrote is absolutely unbelievable. Let me read you this message obtained by People. "It is shameful that I have received only one message from one of my siblings and only one video visit." Josh wrote to his father. Shameful. He's calling his siblings shameful for not reaching out to him. Josh, who inappropriately harmed 4 of his sisters. Josh, who was convicted of possessing illegal content involving minors. He thinks they should be ashamed. He then shared the message he wanted Jim Bob to post in the family group chat. And you guys, the entitlement in this message is shocking. ITH, all due respect, shame on you that you didn't reach out. Josh wrote in the message meant for his siblings, 4 of whom he had harmed when he was a teenager. Shame on them? He's literally telling his victims and his other siblings, shame on you for not contacting him in jail. I am floored by this level of narcissism and lack of self-awareness. He urged his siblings to examine their hearts and lives, as well as their own behavior, in order to ask themselves how they would want to be treated if they were in jail. Okay, Josh, let me answer that for you. If I was in jail for possessing illegal content involving minors after already harming my siblings, I would completely understand why they wouldn't want to talk to me. I would be so consumed with shame and remorse that I wouldn't even expect them to reach out. But Josh? He's out here demanding they examine their hearts and behavior. Josh then said that even if his siblings could not show him compassion, which again he feels entitled to, they could at least show his wife Anna and their 7 children unconditional love and kindness. Here's the kicker. He says Anna is practically a widow, and his children were fatherless as he prepared to start his sentence. But Josh, whose fault is that? Who made the choices that turned Anna into practically a widow and made your children fatherless? You did. The victim mentality is absolutely astounding. He's framing himself as someone whose family is suffering without acknowledging that he is the reason they're suffering. He created this situation through his own criminal actions. He then ended the message for his siblings by expressing his love for his 18 brothers and sisters. I love each one of you, even those WHO have been hurtful. Even those WHO have been hurtful? So now he's saying some of his siblings have been hurtful to him? The 4 sisters he harmed are being hurtful by not reaching out to him in prison? I literally cannot. He signed off by writing, I love you, with a spirit of love, Josh, your oldest brother. The spirit of love thing, while simultaneously shaming them and calling them hurtful, is peak manipulation. This is guilt tripping at its finest. Josh remains at FCI Seagoville in Texas, where the disgraced reality star recently had time added to his federal prison sentence. He is now scheduled to be released on February 2nd, 2033, marking the 3rd time Josh's prison sentence has been extended from his initial release date of August 2032. So he keeps getting more time added, which means he's not doing well in prison, or he's violated rules or something. And he's also in the middle of his 4th, and barring the discovery of some new evidence, final attempt to appeal his conviction. Let me just say this clearly. Josh's siblings do not owe him anything. They don't owe him birthday messages, they don't owe him video visits, they don't owe him compassion or forgiveness. Especially the 4 sisters he harmed, they owe him nothing. The fact that Jessa reached out at all shows incredible grace and compassion on her part. But for Josh to turn around and complain that only 1 sibling contacted him, that's absolutely disgusting. And to shame his siblings for not reaching out, to tell them to examine their hearts, to call them hurtful, after what he did to them, and after what he was convicted of? The lack of accountability and self-awareness is absolutely staggering. This is classic narcissistic behavior, making himself the victim, demanding sympathy and support, guilting people for not giving him what he feels entitled to, all while showing zero remorse for his own actions. What do you guys think about these messages? Are you shocked by Josh's entitlement? Do you think Jessa was too kind by reaching out? Or was she showing remarkable grace? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you want more updates on this story, hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, beautiful people. Remember, you don't owe your abusers anything, no matter what they demand from you.